Okay, hello, I'm Dr. Jessica Parker. I'm the principal at Family Partnership Charter School, and this is a Zoom info session to talk about our school, especially with the new private school reimbursement option that we have this year. So we have Nicole Holta, who is our curriculum coordinator. She's here with us. And we have sponsor teacher Kristen Jackson. She is here to go over a few slides. So we're just gonna take turns and of course answer your questions. And we'll do our best to monitor the chat, and this will be recorded so that you can go back to it or share it because we're gonna move pretty quickly. So we are an ASD K through 12 charter school, and we provide a bridge between homeschool and formal education. And so families work with a certified teacher and they plan individual learning plans for their students. So the word homeschool used to mean that you stayed home and taught your child all the subjects, but now that term is kind of morphed because of COVID and just modern times, that you don't have to be a stay-at-home parent. You can homeschool and outsource education or take advantage of several different programs like having your kids take college courses and things like that. So we're going to introduce just what all the different programs that we have to offer. So we do have an amazing staff. Here is our admin team. And we have lots of sponsored teachers that you can choose from. And we do have a philosophy here that you can choose your sponsored teacher as long as they have availability and space. So when you are fully enrolled, we ask you to look at our bio section and kind of read about all these lovely sponsored teachers, and maybe you know them, and maybe something in their bio strikes you about something that they are skilled in, and you can ask them if they have space and can take you on. We also have a full-time enrichment teacher. Her name is Bethany Peters. And right now we do not have the enrichment schedule for the next school year, but we usually will have that ready for you early August. And her classes really do fill up quickly. But we don't offer any other on-site classes except for these. And they're just about every day. And she does a lot of things like Lego League and STEM, robotics, things that are difficult for you as a parent to teach at home. Dissections are the most popular courses. This is a picture of them dissecting a mollusk. So you can sign up for 1 3-hour course and they can dissect something, and then you don't have to deal with that at home. So we do have one full-time enrichment teacher, but other than that, all the other teachers really work with you to provide your education at home or offsite. And Kristen, you're up. Oh, you're muted.
I was muted. As far as parent responsibilities, sponsor teachers and families have communication regularly, at least once a month, and that can look really different. For some of my families, they love to talk in person or on the phone, but then others like to just text or email and Zoom meetings, whatever. So I'm super flexible in how we have that communication. And I will say that a lot of my families, when they first join Family Partnership, we have communication much more regularly than once a month for that first month, and that is great. And so a lot of families, some families will find that they need and want a lot more support, and other families, it's just a super quick texting check-in and see how things are going. And it can look very different. So it's not a burden, but sponsor teachers are there for support when needed. And then monitoring academic progress. The other big part of our job is to help you make sure that your child is making progress and get to celebrate all the successes. And then for any challenges that you see, kind of help you troubleshoot those things as well. And we kind of along with the next one, collecting work samples, families will submit 2 work samples per subject. So if your child is taking like math, language arts, science, and PE, then you would turn in 2 work samples for each of those classes each quarter for kindergarten through 8th grade. And then for high school, it would be 4 per semester. And then, and so the sponsor teacher will help just with check-ins about how progress is going, as well as working with you for a grade. And then here, the sponsor teacher's role is to create an individual learning plan with you for each one of your students, and that's creating classes in the online system. And to say which classes your student needs to have 2 classes that are core classes like math, science, social studies, language arts. For high school students, that could be world language also. And then the other 2 classes can either be core or they can be elective classes like PE, art, music. It could be tech things. It could be photography, all kinds of things, work study for kids who are in high school. The sponsor teacher also is your resource to help navigate. One of the awesome things about family partnership is you have a lot of choices. And so your sponsor teacher can kind of help let you know what all of those are, whether you want to do all of your classes at home. And so you want to know about all the different options that are available as far as curriculum, whether you want online curriculum, whether you want paper pencil curriculum, some kind of mix, or whether you want to find out, well, maybe I want to do a couple classes at home, but I also would like them to go out and do class for math somewhere else. And so your sponsor teacher can help you figure that out. And we have a lot of high schoolers actually who do very few of their classes solely at home. They may be taking a few classes at their neighborhood school. They may be taking some through college, a class at King Tech. So there's just a lot of options available. And your sponsor teacher is that person to help you navigate all those choices. And then evaluate assessments and work samples, providing feedback. So we talked about that you'll provide work samples quarterly or for high school by semester to your sponsor teacher, and your sponsor teacher will look at those. And if you have any questions about how things are going, your sponsor teacher is that person who can help provide feedback in those areas. And then assessments, there's MAP testing available as well for students who'd like to monitor that growth in the fall and spring. And so we participate in state assessments for families who would like to do that. And then the other thing is sponsor teachers are very available for contact. So you're welcome. We all have work cell phones. We're available by cell phone, by email, phone calls. And we're available. We all work on a flexible calendar. So we're here. There's always sponsor teachers that are available here in the office during the summer as well. The online system is the OLS, and that is where you're going to enter all of your classes and put all your work samples there. Grades will go there, and the work samples are just what help show the sponsor teacher, as well as if anybody else needed to see what your child was doing. It just helps to substantiate the grades. And the OLS now also is a place where will create reimbursements, requisitions, and you can upload receipts now, or you can still turn in hard copy receipts and reimbursements to the office. But your sponsor teacher is the one who will be your connection for all questions that you have, basically, whether it's academic or on the business end side of things.
Awesome. I'll start and I'll talk about curriculum. You can use your allotment to purchase all kinds of different curriculum and supplies. It has to be secular or non-religious, and your sponsor teacher will kind of help you navigate what choices there are, like Kristen was saying, and then also if it's something that we can or can't pay for. A lot of times there's new curriculum that comes up and we're not sure, or parents are not sure, it's not on our curriculum resource list. on our website, and then sponsors will help you navigate that, or they'll send it over to me and I can review it for you and make sure we can get you the most money reimbursed as possible. So, and we also add things to our curriculum list all the time, especially in the summer. That's a very busy time that parents are researching and finding new things that we are constantly updating for you. And that is located on our website under the support tab. There's lots of curriculum resources, and it can be a little bit overwhelming. So if you ever do feel overwhelmed, just contact your sponsor and they'll help you narrow your search. So. And we do have a resource library, which is a great place to come peruse curriculum. It's totally an honor system, and everything is donated by parents who are finished using it with all of their children who are homeschooling. And so you are able to take what you need and then bring back what you don't need anymore. Parents come in all the time. We have some book collections. We have some carts that have specific curriculum on them. And everyone's like, oh, can I take these? And are these for anybody? Or how do I check them out? It's just very easy. Come in, have a look around, what you need, you're welcome to take, and we'll help you haul it out to your car if you need. We love seeing things go. And it's a great place also to review things before you buy them. Or maybe we have lots of teachers' manuals of parts of curriculum because those pieces don't get used up. So you can save yourself some money by taking the parts and pieces that we have and then only buying what you need. We also have a resource section in our library that's a little bit separate across from the computers. That is just for preview. It's all brand new stuff that's pretty popular that lands on that shelf for you to review and then decide if you like it for your students. And it looks like we're going to have a Friends of the FPCS library. So a library group who would like to come and hang out, organize, shelve. That's a great way to get your first choice of things before they go on the shelf. So one of our sponsors, Heather DeBerry, will be organizing that. And so if you're interested, you can email her. And we do offer state testing and MAP testing. Our MAP tests are in the fall and winter, and that's K through 9th grade. We offer the AK STAR statewide assessment in April. Testing is an important parameter to measure our success as a school, and it can also inform your instruction as a parent teacher. There is an opt-out process available if you're interested. We also offer SAT testing and AP testing for high schoolers. So that's not on there, but those are available too.
Okay, and we do have special services, just like the Anchorage School District does. We have special education. We have 2 liaisons, and they will help. They serve as a support system for you. So the state law says that if you have an IEP, then you are allowed access to all the SPED services that you would have if you were to go to a neighborhood school. So our liaison is that bridge. They help connect you to those services. They attend your IEP meetings, help you with goals, and just provide to you access to the services that you can fully get at your neighborhood school. And that goes along with 504s as well. So 504s is like the first step to an IEP. Most of the time it is medical, like a medical accommodation. So we also have a 504 liaison, and they will write your 504 plan, meet with you, talk about your struggles for your students and how to find the support that you need. So that's a major perk with choosing a homeschool program like Family Partnership that is part of the Anchorage School District, is you have access to all of those neighborhood school activities. Same thing with sports, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on, but it's nice that they're aligned because it's easy to access those resources and support. And we also offer some fun clubs and opportunities. We do have a National Honor Society. We have Battles of the Books, is something that's very robust here. So your child could participate in that. We have a student government. We do field trips regularly. We have Lego League. Last year, our team went to state. We do science fair, spelling bee, like Nicole mentioned, AP exams on site, and PSAT, SAT testing, just all of those things that the brick and mortar schools offer, we also offer here on site. So that is another major benefit of family partnership. All right.
And students are able to take classes, college classes. And so it's a wonderful opportunity because we have a lot of high school students who take college classes, and they often a one semester college class is actually completing their full year of high school credit for that class. So if they take an English class, they may only be taking the class for the one semester, but they're completing their full year of English for that year in one semester, and they're getting dual credit. So they'll have it on a college transcript, but they also have it on their high school credit, as long as that class is is a level 100 UA class or UAF. And we have some great partnerships with some of the colleges, and UAF is one of the more recent ones that for students who do well taking online classes, that is a great option because they're even cheaper. So it's $495 for most of the classes. And there's one of our contacts there at UAF is great at working with families and helping answer questions about the UAF classes. And it's lovely to have someone who can help kind of walk you through the steps. So that's one option that's available to our students. And students not only, like I've had students who take, the math, English, some of those regular core classes, but then we also have some students who've taken college classes for things that are difficult to find other places. Like I had a student who took Russian through UAA, or students who've taken a pottery class at UAA, just who are finding some different areas of interest. So that's another way that those college courses can kind of help just really help fulfill those interests for our students, as well as challenge them. And then our allotments are very high compared to other programs. And so a lot of families love coming to family partnership for that. This year, our kindergarten through 5th grade students will have an allotment of $4,000 for the year. The 6th through 8th grade students, $4,250, and 9th through 12th grade students, $4,500. And allotments can be spent, there's a lot of flexibility in how you spend it. So it's not set that this money has to go towards this class or this money has to go towards that class. You have your allotment and you're able to determine with the parent and sponsor teacher how those funds are used. And there is a handbook to explain any things where there are limits on funds, such as school supplies or art supplies or those kinds of things. But overall, you have a lot of flexibility. So we have some families who may decide, for example, that they are purchasing religious curriculum because that's what they would like to use for their classes, but they're going to then use their full allotment just to spend on their music and PE lessons, for example. Or some families, they really do, they use all of that money for tutoring or just for like their math and reading classes for the year. So it's totally up to families how they would like to spend it. And any funds that are not used roll over to the next school year, which is awesome because sometimes kindergartners just don't need to use as much funds. But I will tell you, if you're taking college classes, it's really nice having had some of those rollover funds from other years. So that's a great benefit. We do have some students who are enrolled just part-time. To be enrolled full-time at Family Partnership at 100%, you need to have 4 classes. And like I said before, 2 of those classes need to be core classes, math, science, social studies, language arts, world language if you're in high school. And then you can go down, if you want to be 75%, you'd have 3 classes, 50%, 2 classes, and 25% 1 class. At each of those levels, 50% of the classes need to be core classes. And so I've seen sometimes our private school students have done part-time, but now with the private school changes, and I don't want to jump ahead onto any slides, but it makes it easier for our private school students this year to be enrolled at 100%. So Nicole might talk about more about that later.
Yeah, so some of the class options we have here, we've talked about some of them, like college classes, but students can also take classes at their neighborhood school. If they're interested, they can take up to 3 classes there. High school, that is usually pretty easy to get, and then in the middle school and elementary school, it is up to principal approval. And those classes cost $465 each at the high school per semester. We offer an online virtual high school here through a partnership of our school, Frontier and Paideia, actually. So we're all really skilled in homeschool and online learning, and we're local and we keep good track of our students. That's called Ox Academy, and those courses are $200 a semester. And then the King Tech High School, those classes they're spendy, but a lot of them are 1.5 high school credits, and it's really hands-on learning there, and quite a extensive classroom environment that they're immersed in. So those classes are $13.95 per semester. And another class option that's coming to our school new is private school courses. And thanks to the Alaska statute here listed above, a parent or guardian can purchase non-sectarian services and materials from public, private, or religious organizations with student allotment. So even if we can't reimburse a private school class because maybe it has religious content to it, that class can still go into your student's learning plan and count as part of their core classes or elective classes for full-time enrollment. Some individual secular courses for certain private schools we have vetted their curriculum for can be reimbursed, and I'll talk a little bit more about that on the next slide. But even if you are going to a private school where there are no classes that we can reimburse for at the time, you can still use the allotment for other various educational expenses. I always like to tell parents the funnest part of the handbook is starting at that allowable expenses page. That's where you can kind of start reading and be creative with things like technology. We pay $70 a month for internet, things like school supplies and other supplemental materials or tutoring services or vendor services are all things that you can use if we can't pay for individual courses, or if we can only pay for some of the courses at the private school and you still have leftover allotment. So here are some of the private schools that do have some reimbursable courses with us. It of course depends on the grade level of the student and then what classes they're taking. And then even furthermore, some of them, like a teacher's aide, for example, if you're a high school teacher's aide in gym, that would be something we could reimburse for. But if you're a high school teacher's aide in say a religious class, then we wouldn't be able to reimburse for that. So some of those, even those fine-tuned details, will come down to what individual students are doing. But and not all of the schools are equal. Some schools have more classes and some schools have less, and then some schools have none. So if you don't see your school here, that doesn't mean you can't still dual enroll with us and qualify for the allotment to use it in other ways. Once you do enroll with us and you're paired up with a sponsor teacher, that sponsor teacher will help you build the learning plan in our online system. And if you pick, say, your private school, like say you pick Holy Rosary and then you pick an English class, if we're able to reimburse the class, it will populate the price for you so you can see how much money you would get back. And some classes are not fully reimbursable. Maybe it's like 75% of the course. So it really depends on lots of fine-tuned details exactly what we can reimburse you for.
Okay, to tag along with the private school, just wanted to say a couple of things. I know that this has gotten a lot of attention on, is this allowed? Yes, it is allowed. It is approved by the state, by the district. We're moving forward with this. We're excited about it. Yes, there are some unknowns, like what Nicole was talking about, like the TA and things like that. But we are excited to move forward. And if you feel like it's not worth it, like this is too much work, I'm at Grace and my daughter's a kindergartner, we won't get, none of those classes are reimbursable. So you have two options. You can either stay with us and then just use the allotment for other things, or just unenroll. It is really that simple. You're not like signing that you're going to stay with Family Partnership. You can just try it. And then if you feel like it's too much work reaching out to your sponsor teacher and submitting more examples, that it's not worth the allotment because your daughter isn't part of taking those reimbursable courses, that's okay too. So I just wanted you to know that we're on this journey with you, but we have a lot of guidance and we're excited to move forward. And your sponsor teacher is going to be a big resource. So once you're matched with your sponsor teacher, they could tell you specifically what courses at what particular private schools are going to be reimbursable. So hopefully that helps with that. Moving on to vendors. So you can use any vendor. This is new this year. So in the past, you had to be an approved ASD vendor only or nonprofit. Those were your two choices, nonprofit or ASD. And the ASD approved vendor still is a thing, but it's a lot of work to be an approved vendor. You have to do a background check and business license, and you have to fill out a form, which is 20 pages that's submitted to the district, and the district approves you. Businesses can still do that. And there is a mega perk to that. If you have a piano teacher who is an approved ASD vendor, then there's no out of pocket for families. They can bill us directly and we will take the money out of your allotment and send it straight to them. So that is a beautiful benefit. But this year, they don't have to be an ASD approved vendor. You can use any piano teacher. They just need two things. They need a W-9 submitted to us so that we can, track their income properly. And they need to have a business license, just an Alaska business license. And it's that simple. And you can't requisition. You can only reimburse. So you do have to pay the piano teacher out of your own pocket, but then you submit the receipt. And if Musical Minds has a W-9 and a business license on file, we will reimburse you as the parent for those piano lessons. And if not, we'll reach out to you or reach out to Musical Minds and say, hey, can we get a license, business license and W-9? So this is brand new this year also. So you really can use your allotment in so many ways. It's never been so free before. So you won't have problems spending your allotment. It's very easy to do. And vendor is just any kind of class, online, on site. It could be sports. It could be a hockey association. It could be, sewing class at Joanne's, really any kind of course or business. We do have a list of approved vendors on our website. At the end of this, we'll pull up our website and kind of give you just the basics where you can find this stuff. So again, it's great to use the ASD approved vendors, but this year you don't have to. So that's pretty exciting news. So there's two ways. Am I still on? Yeah, I'm on for two more slides. Two ways to spend your money: requisitions or reimbursements. So requisitions means we pay it, we buy it for you. So a popular option is Amazon. Your son is doing a unit on dinosaurs. You want to buy a bunch of dinosaur books that you're going to read. Well, why not let us buy them for you? There's no out of pocket. You don't have to submit any receipts. The requisition option is easier, it's quicker, it'll be shipped straight to your door. So there is a process to that. You log into OLS, you click on the class like science, and then you enter in the requisition and your sponsor teacher can help you with that process. The second option is reimbursements. And this is where you buy. Maybe you are using an Alaska Airlines credit card and you want miles, and you don't mind waiting for that reimbursement check, then you can buy all the dinosaur books. And then you submit the receipt to us saying, look at all these dinosaur books I bought. Can I get this reimbursed and taken out of our allotment? This process does take a little bit longer. Usually you won't get your reimbursement check from 4 to 6 weeks. If it's during business time, it can be, if it's during the really hot, busy times like December or March, April, May, it does take up to 2 months, which is why we encourage the requisitions whenever possible. But we understand reimbursements are very popular. Parents, are there with their card and they want to make the purchase right away. So those are the 2 ways that you can use your allotment. Now, if you are being reimbursed for private school, it is reimbursement only. We don't requisition private school courses. We're just not there yet. All right. Allowable expenses.
Yes, so there's so many ways that you get to spend your allotment, and some of them are these types of things like school supplies. So all the things that you think of as school supplies, paper, pencils, calculators, rulers, crayons, all those kinds of things. You're able to get reimbursed for up to $200 per student for school supplies. Art supplies, if your student has an art class, they can spend up to $600 for the year on art supplies. And that can be, I've had students do all kinds of things from clay and watercolor and lots of paper and glue to also some students have purchased Cricut machines, and all kinds of different things have fallen under that art supplies category. And as long as each item under the art supplies is under $200, it is no problem. If anything is over $200, that's not curriculum, then you'd fill out a pre-approval form with your sponsor teacher and submit that to Nicole. Then other things, the obvious one that a lot of people think of is curriculum textbooks. And there's no limit for curriculum and textbooks on spending there. Science kits, we have a lot of families who love to purchase science kits, lots of science kits from all kinds of different places, including subscription science kits like Kiwi crates and all kinds of things like that. Music, instrument rental, it is expensive. And a lot of us as parents have had students who they're like, yes, I really want to do drum lessons. And then you don't want to actually purchase a whole drum set yourself at home. So it's really nice. You can go to Music Man or wherever does instrument rentals, fill out the agreement form, and Family Partnership can reimburse you for instrument rental so your student can try it out for the year. And then internet service, we submit up to $70 per month, and some families will have all the internet come out of one student, or sometimes they'll have 4 students in the family and they'll do 3 months on one student, 3 months on another student, 3 months on another student for being reimbursed for internet. Technology is a very popular one that we have families who you have 2 options if you'd like to purchase a computer or a tablet, and you may purchase one yourself up to $1,500 to be reimbursed once every 3 years per student. And it's yours to keep. There's no having to bring it back to the office at any point. And you'll get reimbursed in one lump sum when you submit the receipt. For if you are like, nope, we just don't have the money to pay up front, you can also do a requisition for a computer or a tablet up to $499. So I have a lot of families who do this for like Chromebooks and things like that are great for students to use. And then technology, also tech supplies, things like headphones, even sometimes routers. With so many of our parents working at home, they've needed extra things like that at the house. Printer ink is very expensive. That can go under tech supplies. PE lessons, this is one a lot of families love. Swimming lessons, rock climbing lessons, all those kinds of things. And just depending on, like Jessica had talked about, whether they are if they're a approved service vendor, those PE lessons can be paid for directly by family partnership so that you don't even have to submit receipts. Or if it is like a nonprofit vendor or someone who's just turned in their business license and is a other vendor, then you'll pay for it and submit the receipt yourself. But all of those things are great ways to spend your allotment. The APC board is the board that oversees all the financial, legal, and academic operations of our school. And they are consist of parents, teachers, and students. And it's a great opportunity to be able to get involved in the school. We encourage families who want to just come and join and listen to come and do that too. They meet the first Monday of the month at 5:30, and all the governing documents are available online on our family partnership website. And so that's another great opportunity to get involved and have a voice. And then communication, our website is available, and it sounds like Dr. Parker will show that to us at the end here, how to get on the family partnership website. Calendar is there, tidbits, newsletter. Once you're a student in the school, your family will begin receiving weekly newsletters on Fridays from the school that will have all kinds of information. Sometimes there's bragging highlights about a student who had some fun accomplishment or something neat that one of the enrichment classes did, or maybe battle of the books, that kind of thing. And all that information is there, plus information maybe about upcoming AP tests, SAT tests, whatever you need to know about things that are coming up. And then weekly emails, your sponsor teacher often will send out additional communication just to let you know about upcoming deadlines. You'll have that information in the handbook and a calendar and that kind of thing. But as a sponsor teacher, I know I send out email reminders to my families. These deadlines are coming up. Don't forget, just so that you don't have to have the sole responsibility of noticing that date on one of the many calendars in your life. And then there's all these other ways to connect with family partnership on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay, and I am going to show you my the website, but Nicole, do we have anything in the chat, or can I give it to you for a second while I pull up the website?
There was a question. Did you want to, do you still have it, or? They didn't type it in the chat box, so feel free to unmute or type if you rather.
Okay.
So we actually have a number of questions, mostly in the financial realm, but we can wait till the Q&A period. That's fine.
All right, we're almost there. So here is our general website. Can you see this, Nicole? Okay, good. So the main places to look is About has our staff bios. So as you are admitted, then this is where you can pick out your sponsor teacher. And you'll notice some of them, like Kristen is full. Sorry, you can't pick Kristen. She's maxed out on her families, but you can read the bios, and their phone number and their email is here. So that is under the About. OLS won't be really helpful to you until you are a student or a family member, and your sponsor teacher will walk you through that. But it is our online system where you enter in grades and such. The forms. So this is where all of the forms are to do business. The most important one would be the handbook. So this handbook really does share everything you would need to know about what you're allowed to purchase and whatnot. Can I buy Legos? The answer is yes, you can buy Legos, but there are rules. You can't spend $4,000 worth of Legos. But you could download this handbook, and I love the nifty, Command F button. You can look for the Lego word, and it'll direct you straight to the Lego section. So if you are buying Legos over 200, there's a form. And here it is, Legos up to $200 per student per year. And then here's the rule. So that's a good little just cheat there to find out the specific rules is the Command F, and you can be like, oh, internet. And it'll take you directly to the rule or the deadline that is guiding that. Programs, this is where the enrichment information is going to be. So if you're interested, like what kind of enrichment classes do they offer, you can click on the calendar and yeah, here it is, the classes. This is last year, but you can at least get an idea of this. She tells you how to sign up. Click on the calendar tab to see.
And I'll just interject, yeah, there's no classes now, but I usually go back to see what was offered in the history when people ask me what types of classes have been offered.
Here it is, like the zoo field trip, student newspaper, pizza box, solar oven. So it just gives you an idea of the types of classes. And you can even make your own personal requests like, oh, I'd really love to learn how to, dissect a shark or something. Okay. Ox Academy is our online in-house courses that we offer, and those will be available soon. But what's nice about these is I know everybody in the world has online courses, but these courses are taught by our staff. So what's nice is, let's say your student is really struggling, they can come up here to the building and get like help one-on-one and really walk them through like, oh, I can't log in, or I lost my passcode. We are, it's our online program. We can offer like extensions or certain accommodations. So it's really meant for homeschool family partnership students. So you're not just a number, you're part of our program. Vendors, this is where you can find out the approved vendor list. So let's say you don't want to pay for music lessons out of your own pocket. You want to choose from some ASD ones. You can click here on music and hit submit. And here are all the different people that offer music lessons. And here's their contact information. And what's beautiful about the ASD ones is they have had a background check. They have had, all of those checks, the district has approved them. Whereas if you're doing your own vendor, it's reimbursement. The liability really is on you. You want to make sure that you're doing the vetting yourself. So there is the vetting information. If your neighbor is a piano teacher and she's interested in being a vendor, she can click right here and it'll tell her how to work on that process. I love this beautiful bulletin board. It has just flyers, because it's one thing to see a website and a phone number, but this you can actually see like teaching pods. This is awesome. If you want to outsource and are looking for a kindergarten class, if you click on these different things, it's a flyer specifically for that. And then here is the support button. This is probably the best button on the whole page. If you click on curriculum resource list, this will tell you hundreds, maybe even thousands. I don't know, Nicole, will you speak to this document? You're more equipped than I am.
Yeah, this curriculum resource list is like a 27-year history of things that have been used at Family Partnership. But it's a live living document. So we keep it updated because things change. There are tabs across the top that divide it into the subject areas. And then it'll tell you like the grade, it'll tell you if it's religious or not, or maybe there's some religious components to it. And keep in mind, that means either we can pay for it or you just pay for it out of pocket and use your allotment for other things. There's like AP certified tab, there's subscription boxes. Subscription boxes is such a fun place to find things. So this is a great resource, but as we're clicking through it, it's a lot of information. So if you're ever feeling overwhelmed, your sponsor can help you kind of sort through that and say like, here's for the 9 through 12 and pencil paper or online class. And, our computers are really smart too. Once you look at one kind of homeschool program, I don't know about you, but I find it like popping up all over in my Facebook feed and all kinds of similar things. You can, people who also search this like this. So it kind of becomes like a little shopping experience, and you will get advertised, and it'll open up a whole new world to you and us. So we're always adding to this document, and then also trying to keep it clean of things that are no longer in print. So.
Awesome. Thank you, Nicole.
Mhm.
And this is also the religious and non-religious piece is really helpful too. And just so you know, you do have a right to use all religious curriculum. We just can't pay for it from your allotment. So if you do want to choose religious curriculum, that is something you have a right to do. This is a Jumpstart great guide for those who are new to homeschooling. These are the most popular curriculums that are used. So it takes that massive spreadsheet and it kind of condenses it to a top 20 list. And then tidbits, this is just our weekly newsletters. If you ever wanted to see, we do send these out weekly, and they will start in August. And that is pretty much it for our website. So I think we can stop recording, Nicole, and then just answer some